Perhaps the reason why you're not a somebody is because you don't even see yourself as one. No one's gonna care about you until you first win. It's not about brand, yeah? It's about winning.
Eric is the best speaker in Asia, best known for his expertise in sales, personal branding, and communication.
These are three things I tell my students at the start of the program. Number one, your story matters. Number two, your voice is powerful. Number three, you deserve to be heard because your words can change lives.
Over the past 15 years, Eric has spoken to more than 500,000 sales professionals across 38 countries, including working with prominent companies like Google, LinkedIn, FedEx, AIA, and even Changi Airport Group.
Till today, I always tell my students, in bad times, your personal brand is your guardian angel. In good times, your personal brand is your pushing force. Today, the world wants us to be flawsome. The more flaws you have, the more real you are, the more authentic you are, the more relatable you are. So the key is not to make money. The key is whether can you play the long game. Because some businesses really do take time. And in order for you to play the long game, you need to connect to your purpose and your values. Therefore, find a problem in this world that pisses you off.
Welcome to the 3M Show, where we invite self-made millionaires and entrepreneurs to discuss on the topic of money, mindset, and mastery. Today, we're very happy to have with us here Mr. Eric Feng. Eric is the best speaker in Asia, best known for his expertise in sales, personal branding, and communication. Over the past 15 years, Eric has spoken to more than 500,000 sales professionals across 38 countries, including working with prominent companies like Google, LinkedIn, FedEx, AIA, and even Changi Airport Group. Eric, I'm so honored.
Wow.
To have you here, man.
With an introduction like this, I cannot wait to hear myself speak. Thank you so much.
It suits some of your character.
Appreciate
it. Just to share a fun fact, I think Eric was the one that inspired me to do personal brand.
That was a long time ago.
That was like close to 3 years ago.
Yes,
I came to your office nearby, and I was asking advice on how I can overcome my fears.
But you know what makes you so different from everybody else? You don't just ask for advice, but you implement it. There are too many ask-holes these days.
Oh, assholes.
I call them ask-holes.
What are assholes?
Ask-hole, A-S-K. People who ask, get answers, but never do anything about it. Their life don't change. They just like the idea of asking and feeling good that they got advice, but they don't implement.
I see. I mean, I was so inspired that I can't help but to take action.
Oh man, I wish all my students are like you.
Definitely. I think there will be many people who will be very great mentees of yours. Eric, I think for those of you who have not met you before,
yes,
could you give an introduction about yourself and your journey as to how you became a speaker and entrepreneur?
Okay, now if you met me when I was in my teens, right, you would see a very shy, scrawny, self-conscious boy. Like you will not see this person.
Okay.
I remember I don't have a lot of friends. I don't get invited to birthday parties, and I always get overlooked when opportunities come my way. And you would think that things would change when you grow up, right? Yes. But no, it got worse. And it really affected my career a lot. Back then, I was still working in an IT job, and it really affected my career. And then one day, I think during a networking event, I met a life coach. And I was telling my life coach that, my life sucks. Nobody gives me opportunities. Like, I'm working so hard. And then he said to me this, and that turned around my 20s. He said, no one's going to ever care about you until you first win. No one's going to care about you until you first win. It's not about brand, yeah? It's about winning. And I was thinking to myself, wow, how do I start winning? And he got me to look at my skill set. Said, look at everything that you have done. What is a skill that you can bet on that you could win something? So back then, I guess I was a nerd when it comes to public speaking. I've always loved public speaking. I admire all the professional speakers. I remember in uni, there was a speaker that I met, watch on TV. He made me cry, in 7 minutes. He made me cry, made me laugh, made me so inspired. I wanted to be like him. So I started working on that skill. Back then, there was no AI. Public speaking was not a cool skill to have. If you tell your friends you want to learn public speaking, they will think that you're very uncool.
Yes.
So I read as many books as I can about public speaking. I joined Toastmasters, which is a public speaking organization. And then shortly after that, when I was posted to US, I took part in a public speaking competition.
Wow.
So most people don't know this.
Okay.
And I figured that it's okay to take part in it in US because if you lose, nobody knows.
That's right.
Yeah, but I won.
Whoa.
Yes, I won. I won the public speaking competition in US.
Okay.
And that blew my limiting belief because I always thought that Asians are not going to be... Asians are inferior when it comes to speaking, compared to the Caucasians, right?
That's right.
But that broke my limiting belief. And
Wow.
obviously my university knew about it. Straits Time knew about it. And then that was how I got featured on Straits Time. And then that was how I got my second job, where I became a speech coach. So one of my key clients was the APEC Secretariat Executive Director.
Wow.
So I was working very closely with CEOs to write their speeches.
Wow.
That was my first win. And that was in my 20s. I think I was your age. How old are you?
This year?
Today?
18. I'm kidding.
Wait, you're 18?
No, I'm 30 this year.
You're 30. Okay.
I'm 30 this year.
Slightly younger. I was probably in my 27, 28.
I see.
Was when I started becoming a speech coach. And that was how I make a name for myself as a public speaking expert in Singapore, when public speaking wasn't cool at all.
Wow, that's
20s.
okay.
Then I went in my 30s, like now in the turning point. I was asking myself, like, do I really want to like teach public speaking all my life? You know, I got bored. Then social media came about. That was Facebook came about. I was from the Facebook era. So I started creating content on Facebook. I started sharing my stories. And then one fine day, one of my stories went viral. I was literally just sharing stories about how we were looked down by our relatives and how that motivated
I saw
me.
that video before.
You saw that video?
Yeah, about your relatives commenting on your clothes.
Exactly.
Clothing, yeah.
That, you know, poor people will always be poor. Don't try to act rich, right?
Yeah.
Let your poor son wear this branded shirt. Now the branded shirt also look fake.
Yeah.
So I started creating content on social media, went viral, started building a following, leaned into it, did a lot of Ask Eric live. I remember every Thursday 8 p.m. without fail, I'll basically just ask Eric.
Oh, there was live back then.
Yes, Facebook have live stream, even before TikTok, before Instagram, and I'll stay up from 8 p.m. to maybe about 11 p.m. just answering any question that people ask. I didn't really had a topic that I was known for, but people just love hanging out with me because of the positive vibes. But it was because of that public speaking opened up to me, or professional speaking opened up to me. I started getting invited to speak outside of Singapore, and then as my following grew, I started getting invites to speak in Asia, in Europe, in US, and then of course today you know me as a professional speaker, right? But that was in my 30s.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So would you say that the mentor really changed your life? That statement was so powerful.
Absolutely. I think there were two mentors that changed my life. In my 20s, it was this coach that said that nobody's going to care about you until you first win.
Okay.
The second mentor that I didn't mention that really changed my life was actually a professional speaker himself. His name is Ron Kaufman. And I was already in corporate training, right? Because I was a speech coach. But I was stuck in just being in Singapore. Nobody knows me outside of Singapore. And then he said this to me. I asked him, how can I go global? He said that people only appreciate you when you become a somebody. Right? If you're a nobody, nobody's going to appreciate you. And then I asked him, how do I become a somebody? What is a somebody? He said, somebody is someone that is known, there's loved, there's respected.
KLR.
KRR.
That's where your
and
company came about.
Yeah, and
Okay.
traditionally, right, to be KRR, you need to have PR, you need to pay agencies to sell your story. But obviously, I don't have money, but it was social media. So I built my KRR on social media, and that's how it opened up a career for me in professional speaking. And you know, right, because of social media, because of professional speaking, it brought me money, it brought me influence, and most importantly, it gave me a lifestyle that I really enjoy today. And I always tell my students that it can happen for you as well, because when you are able to build your influence and you have a platform, right, whether it's off stage or on stage, it's going to change not only your life, but the lives of others that you impact.
And it creates a ripple effect. So I think, Eric, I want to mention something that's super meaningful. In the past, you had great mentors that groom you to be who you are today. Yeah. Today, you are the mentor for many people. So I think recently, I saw on your social media that you ended a boot camp.
Yes.
And I saw how you have impacted so many people. Can you tell me more about that?
Okay, so that is my mission in my 40s. So now that I'm 43 right now, so it's been 3 years, right? So when I turned 40, I had a new mission.
Cannot tell, by the way.
Thank you, because of good lightings.
Yeah.
I think the mission was this, that I really spoke, in my peak, I was speaking at 38 countries, 500,000 audience. How much more can you speak? What? You want to speak? The more countries I go, it's going to get more and more dangerous.
And how much were you getting paid?
I get paid about 15K USD per speech for about 45 minutes.
Thank you for being here today.
No, don't say that. But it's just that after a while, I realized that you're not going to make much impact from a 45-minute speech. Right? Yeah, you can inspire people, you can get standing ovations, you get business class, all these are great. But the minute you hit your 40s, I guess you start thinking about legacy. And I realized that the only way you can create legacy is by making an impact in other people's life. And that's why I created two programs. One program called KRR to help people build influence using social media, to help them find their voice and platform. But the second one, which I'm also very proud of, is Get Paid to Speak, where I teach people how to monetize their expertise, how they can find their voice, and then make an impact in this world on stage. So that was the program that you're mentioning.
Awesome, man. And what was if you were to summarize the three main pointers that you deliver across, how will you summarize?
These are three things I tell my students at the start of the program. Number one, your story matters. Number two, your voice is powerful. Number three, you deserve to be heard because your words can change lives. So I don't care how young you are or how old you are, every one of us come with stories that we can share. You think about it, right, Edric? All the passions that you have, all the quirks that you have, all the challenges that you have, all the scars that you have, they are not there and given to you to survive them, you know. They're given to you so that you can heal and then heal others and turn the scars into stars. So I was joking that my program, Get Paid to Speak, is therapy for all of us.
So our struggles in the past are actually strengths.
Exactly. All the traumas that you have are treasures for the people that you are speaking. All the mess become your message. And obviously the scars are where you shine.
So I'm very curious because the people that have said such good reviews, right? Like some of them were crying. Like how did that happen?
I think number one is, there are a lot of reasons why they cry. I think one of the reasons is because I attract a lot of underdogs in my community. Actually, if you describe the community that I built, we're all underdogs. I was a nobody. I was invisible, you know. Nobody cares about me. My best friend, in a kindness word, she said that, Eric, even if you're in class, no one's going to notice you. I was that invisible, you know, Edric. So I understand what is it like to be unheard, you know, unappreciated. I know what is it like to be a nobody. But the thing is that because of that, right, all of us today, you know, we felt like, you know, I think the world has opened up, and the more nobody you are, the more somebody you can be. I always tell my students that we may all be nobody by default, but we can all be somebody by design.
Wow.
You know, the quietest kids that you know of today are the loudest adults because we have so much that we want to say. And so what I want to do, at being an ex-nobody, is to help all the other nobodies out there. I want to get a platform for them. I want to build their confidence, and I want to get them on stage to share the things that they've gone through. Because once upon a time, whatever that they go through is what today the people are going through.
Wow, that's super impactful, man.
It is. We can heal people through our stories, you know.
Yeah. And you make me feel like learning more from you directly
You're most welcome.
so that I can improve my influence as well.
And there's a reason why we're doing this. It's a recruitment campaign. Because I run a speaker bureau, right? And the reason is our clients will never hire the same speakers twice at the same conference. They're always looking for fresh faces. And they do not just want professional speakers. Professional speakers means we speak for a living. They want entrepreneurs like yourself. They want practitioners who are in the trenches. They want auntie and uncles who have been through shit to come on stage and share how they go through it.
So why is that? Like, why do they want to look for people
I think
like
thanks
this?
to TikTok.
Okay.
You know, since COVID time, we start to learn from everybody else. Everybody has a story to share. You know, we are also moving from an era of being awesome to being flawsome. You know, remember?
Flawsome, okay.
We belong to an era previously where, if you're awesome, if you're perfect, we love you. But that's not the world that we're living in right now. Today, the world wants us to be flawsome. The more flaws you have, the more real you are, the more authentic you are, the more relatable you are. So clients today, they want founders, they want, you know, practitioners and employees who've been through the same challenges that the audience are going through, but they are one step ahead or two steps ahead. They want to hear from them. They don't just want to hear from a motivational speaker who tell them they can do it. Anybody can do that. YouTube can do that. AI can do that. But they want real human beings to tell you that I've been through it, and I know you can go through it too.
Wow, this is so powerful, man. I mean, if a lot of people heard this, they will have more courage. And I guess the struggle that many people face, including when I first started, I'm not sure if you face the same thing, is that there are self-doubts, there's a fear of failure. Like, how would you suggest them to overcome?
Community. You know, I tell my students this. I say that the world may not believe in you, but I'll be the first to step up and believe in you.
Wow.
So I told them, you leverage on my belief first. Because I've been through what you have been through, you know, and all my students, at the beginning, they always build their faith on my belief in them, right? And they always say, Eric, I want to make you proud. I always tell them this, you don't have to make me proud, I'm already proud of you. You already show up. Step 2, right, is to go and work on your skills. And then when you work on your skills, people will start to believe in you, and then that's how you build your tribe. But fundamentally, right, they cannot be reliant on me, because if they are reliant on me, this is called a cult. Right? So one of the things that we teach in our boot camp is self-belief. Because, you know, Edric, the world is simply your mirror. I'll tell you a quick story. I signed up for a coaching program once to help me build my brand, you know, because I wanted to be a somebody. I paid a lot of money for that. But I also had coaching from this person. And I remembered that one day, you know, I learned everything from him, but I did not get any results. You know, I did everything he asked me to do on social media. I did everything he asked me to do on stage. But I just didn't get the opportunities that I really wanted. And he was the same guy that told me about, you know, people won't appreciate you until you are somebody.
Okay,
right?
your second mentor.
Yes, my second mentor. And then one day, I came into his house. He stays in the East Coast. I entered his coaching room. There was no TV. There was no notes. I was like, shit, what's going on? How come like there's no class? And then he sat down in front of me like this, and he looked at me and he said this, Eric, I think I know what's the problem. And in my mind, right, I immediately, the first thought I came in my mind was, shit, he's going to fire me. He's probably going to say that, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Because, Edric, you might laugh at this. I have a lot of teachers that walk out on me. Okay. They felt that, I think you're not cut out for this. And you see, that's why I say, I want to be the teacher that believe in you. Even if the whole world don't believe you, I rather stand there in front of your haters, and I say, I believe in him. You can lean on me. So I was very afraid that he would say that maybe you're not cut out to be a somebody. You're not cut out to be a global speaker. But instead, he said this to me. He said, Eric, I think I know what's the problem. I said, what? He said, Eric, perhaps the reason why you're not a somebody is because you don't even see yourself as one.
Wow.
And it was like a pin drop, you know.
Okay.
Then he asked me, do you even see yourself as a somebody? And I immediately already know the answer. I don't. I was still nobody.
So
inside
subconsciously,
me.
you didn't believe in yourself.
I don't believe that I can really do it.
Okay.
And
so what changed?
He gave me a homework. He said, now, today's homework is very easy. He said, I'm going to prepare breakfast. He said, here's a piece of paper. And I want you to write down 50 things that you like about yourself.
Wow. Okay.
I wrote.
How many do you write?
Well, I wrote like about 3 to 4.
Okay.
And then I was stuck for very long. I could not find something that I really like about myself. Okay. And I remember I broke down and cried. Because I was like, wow, am I so unlovable? Like, am I so lousy, so unworthy? And it was a even now I can feel it. Like, it's a wake-up call for me that I cannot wait for the world to love me. I cannot wait for the world to pick me up. I cannot even wait for Ron to validate me. I need to be the first one to pick myself up. Because if I don't pick myself up, no one's going to pick me up. And tears, breakfast later, I just keep writing. Eventually, I spent a whole day. Eventually, I wrote 50 things that I like about myself.
Awesome, man.
And that was a changing point.
Super inspiring. Man.
That was a changing point for me.
Okay.
And that's why I realized that the world is really your mirror. That before you want the world to celebrate you, you first celebrate yourself.
And you must love yourself.
You must love yourself.
Now I get why your community has therapy.
It is therapy. That's why they thought they're coming to learn how to get paid to speak. But actually they came to learn how to love themselves. And it's easy to love the perfect part of you, yo. But it's not the perfect part I want you to love. It's the scars I want you to love, the flaws I want you to love. Because if you can love them, Rumi once says this, he's a philosopher. He said that light enter through your scars, through your wounds. So if you can love even the unworthy part of yourself, that's how you heal yourself. And that's how you become whole. And then when you become whole, your message then have power. You cannot tell people to love yourself if you did not even love yourself. You cannot even tell people that, hey, the bad times will go away when you did not even go through bad times. There is no power in that. That's why, yes, there's AI right now to write brilliant speeches, but there is no soul in all those speeches because you have not lived through it.
And that is something that AI can never help someone with.
So I always tell my speakers this, you need to walk your message. Your life is your message.
Right, I just want to highlight this. So if any of you are facing doubts, lack of self-belief, a homework that you can do is take a piece of paper, start writing 50 reasons of why you like yourself. And I don't think you should just write it once. I think you should repeat it.
No, we do mirror work.
How often?
I tell my students to do this every day in the morning. Look at themselves, look at yourself in the mirror and go, hi good looking or hi handsome, whatever you want. Right? Because it's very strange.
Words have power.
Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. I once did an experiment. I could show you the bureau. Okay, I got 2 apples. One apple, I stick I love you.
So you went to do the experiment?
Yeah, it went viral on TikTok.
Okay.
And then another one, I put it, I hate you.
Okay.
Same 2 apples, yeah?
Okay.
Same spot. Every day I look at the I love you apple, I say I love you. And every day I look at the I hate you apple, I say I hate you. Within just about 2 to 3 days, you start to see the discoloring in the I hate you apple. While the I love you apple looks still good. And then I just did that for 7 days. The I hate you apple started rotting. And then I did it 14 days. It started, liquid start coming up. Whereas the I love you apple still look pinkish. The experiment stopped at 14 days because my mom said, if you don't get rid of the apple, I'm going to kick you out of the house. Back then, I was still staying with my mom. And that was when I realized that, there's power in our words. And the reason why the world doesn't respond to you the way you want them to is because you don't even respond to yourself the way you want the world to respond to you. Everything starts with you.
Yeah. And, I do a lot of studies on like the subconscious mind.
Yes.
And they believe that when you have repetition, it starts to enter the subconscious mind. Right. And would you say that when someone hit on you, right, it actually reflects their
No, absolutely.
inner...
You see, you give what is in you, you see. You cannot give, that's why is it there's so many haters, right? Because they have no love in them. How can they give love? But if you look at the people who are very loving, they can't give hate because there's no hate inside them. How can they give it? So you can only give what's inside you.
And something that I take away is that a mentor is life-changing.
Very
but
much.
we must take full responsibility and have proper routines, right? And
You need to be coachable, I feel.
yes, and I think the key thing is like during a program, a lot of people are very motivated. Yeah, but the essence lies when what happens after the program? Do you still continue your practices?
Well, so this is where we cannot trust human beings. Because, I do design, right? Program design. I always envision that when you enter a program, it's like a box. While we will instill you with all the positive beliefs, we give you all the skill sets. But the minute you get out, you got two choices. Number one, you either have to climb the stairs up to your breakthrough. And if you don't climb these small stairs, right, you will slip down the slippery slope back to your old life.
That's right.
So we design programs. The most important part of the program is actually the post-program, not the program itself.
Accountability.
The learning transfer.
How does that happen?
Why don't I give you an example of what we do in Get Paid to Speak, okay? So yes, we teach 3 days, right?
Okay.
But we assign a bestie to them to follow them for 3 months.
Okay. Is the bestie
A
your
bestie
ex-students?
is my ex-students
Okay.
who have benefited so much from the program, they want to pay it forward.
Okay.
They want to help.
Okay.
So we have a bestie that will make sure you do your work every single week. We have a speech coach that I personally train to evaluate you on your speeches. We run stage time everywhere in Singapore, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and Australia. So we have spaces like this where there were 5 to 10 people every week will come over here to deliver their speech, and there'll be a speech coach that will evaluate them. And then I have a success manager that will oversee their marketing materials and make sure that they can get paid to speak.
Wow.
I create a learning app that have quests every month. So first month, the entire quest is to build an authority on LinkedIn. The second month is to create a speech. The third month is to build all their marketing materials to get paid speeches. And every time they finish an assignment, we give them points.
So you
These
gamify the whole
points-
thing.
Yeah, they can
It's so
exchange
fun.
for merchandise. And recently we created GPTS.ai, Get Paid to Speak.ai, where every push of a button, a speech get created. Every push of a button, LinkedIn content get created. A push of a button, marketing materials get created. Because my AI already know everything about them. Because they spend the last 3 days telling me everything they know about them. So we can write articles for them, we can build a brand for them, we literally do everything for them. So I told them that the goal is to make it so powerful they don't need to come for a bootcamp.
Thanks for sharing, Eric. I'm going to implement that in my own community.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
not done. I feel that as a community leader, we need to feed our people as well, right? We say Get Paid to Speak. Well, this is not a public speaking program.
Okay.
So you know what we do? Every month, we organize corporate showcases where we bring corporate clients to sit down and listen to them speak.
Wow.
Next month, 28 May, we have 41 corporate clients from my side that will be listening to 16 of my speakers speak about their topic.
Wow.
Yeah, we
So
create
it's like live interview for them.
Yeah, and we sign MOU with association conferences to supply speakers to them. So I told them, hurry, because this is not a learning program. This is a job, right? Basically, what they call a headhunting company. We want you to quickly get through all our assignments because at the end of the tunnel, it's clients waiting to give you money. Whether it's $500 or $50,000, it depends on how capable you are. But the money is over there waiting for you.
So, Eric, if any of them would like to be part of the community, like what's their first step towards
Well,
joining
the
community?
The first step is to just say hello to me first because we just finished our April bootcamp. Our
Okay.
next bootcamp will be in August.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now we want to take care of our students first, but 4 months time they come and look for us.
Okay.
So they can just IG me, drop me a message on LinkedIn or Instagram and put you on the waiting list.
Yes, and guys, as much as how Eric is super busy, he's someone that has a very genuine heart and he is overflowing with abundance.
Thank you.
He will definitely reply you guys if you are serious about learning how to speak.
Okay.
Yeah.
My team will reply
Oh.
you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, because when they Instagram me, right, I have
Okay.
a team that takes care of it. But we
Yeah.
will definitely reply. Not that I don't want to reply, but exactly like what you said,
Yeah.
the community has grown so much. It gets really difficult to reply everybody. Yeah. But we will definitely get back to that.
And you have wrote many books on like public speaking skills.
4 books.
Okay. What are some of the books that they can read first before waiting for?
In fact, when they sign up for our web class in August, which is free of charge, because I need to first introduce them to the world of professional speaking, we will even give them a copy of my book, electronic version, on
Nice.
public speaking. It's my
Okay.
very first book called Get to the Point. We don't sell it anymore. Inside contain 99 frequently asked questions on public speaking. For example, how to be humorous on stage, how to overcome your nerves, how to organize your thoughts, how to be influential on stage. We have already all the answers is in that book. It's like having me beside them, coaching them on public speaking.
Do you have an AI for yourself? Is that in the pipeline?
No, it's already built. Getpaidtospeak.ai.
Also, that is your
My
AI.
entire brain is in there. So they literally can ask me anything about professional speaking. I would help them. They can literally ask me to analyze their speech, and I'll tell them how to improve their speech. They can literally ask me, they're doing to ask me, they just click the buttons, we'll teach them specifically LinkedIn posts to write. Yeah, it's all done.
And Eric, I think your 40s, I can really see the legacy being built.
Yeah, one too. After a health scare, right? I realized that don't take it for granted, man. Just because I know I want to live to 120 years old, but I also understand that anything could happen, and I just don't want to take my life for granted. And that's why I'm so driven to do what I do. Because, my sister once said this to me, that immortality is not about living forever. Immortality is about making such a huge difference in people's life that you live forever in them. And I love to do that. Yeah, and the only way to do it is AI. AI is one way.
And a never-ending cycle of passing down the knowledge, discipleship. And that's why you have to get paid to speak program. And Eric, I think you mentioned that our scars, like enter through our scars.
Yes.
So I want to discuss something that happened to you in your entrepreneurship journey.
Yes.
There was once you, because of a failed venture, you were in 1 million in debt.
Yes.
Can you share with us more about that experience?
Oh, man. Where do I begin? I think it began when I met a very famous speaker called Adam Khoo. And most people don't know that story. So I met Adam Khoo. Back then my company was already, I think, we were at least 2 mil already. 2 mil company revenue already.
Okay.
Right. And then I had a chance, and Adam Khoo was my idol because he is doing so well back then, right? I'm sure he's still doing very well. So one day I met him, I said, Adam, how do I scale my business, right? And then he said, Eric, you cannot be running the company and be also a speaker in your company. You need to find someone to run the company.
To be an owner.
Yeah, someone needs to be an owner. Maybe not you, right? So that was when I started looking out for my business partner, right? And this business partner came, had a very big, nice business plan to help us scale our business. And that requires us to set up training schools in every country that I wanted to be in. Training schools, yeah. And our job was to bring our Singapore trainers to every part of Asia. So you can already kind of figure out how much investment that needs to be done. So I remembered, because we had a very good P&L, every single bank was willing to loan us money. And then we scale, right? We built a training school in Singapore, we built a training school in Thailand, China, Taiwan, Indonesia, Hong Kong, you name it, Vietnam, Cambodia, we have. And everyone we hire people. At the peak, we had 16 staff. And back then, my boss doesn't believe in just hiring normal people. He want to hire the best. So we hire graduates. And graduates ask for 5K, 7K, 8K, 10K.
So how much were the expenses like in a single
On my month, about 100K every month.
Okay.
Yeah. And because I wasn't very good with numbers, and I thought that what Adam said was that, hire a good CEO, let him run the thing, and then I focus on speaking. So unfortunately, it was a very bad idea because we were so ambitious in scaling up the company until one fine day, I think it was in 2018, I was being called back to office. And that was when they then tell us that our company is in trouble. There was a very big hole that we cannot patch. No matter how much money I bring in, it's only enough to pay the interest of the money that the banks we owe.
Okay.
It's very scary, because if the money that you bring in cannot even help you grow the company, you know that in the next 1 or 2 years your company is going to be
That's right.
like downhill. Yeah, and that was when I got very angry. I was very frustrated. I was like, I worked very hard. I literally was speaking in 16 countries a year. And yet it's only enough to just pay the interest of the debts that we have paid. And employees start to feel the heat because we keep dragging their salaries. And then eventually they started leaving us, and obviously when they leave, they talk shit about us. And that was when I realized, I used to be very egoistic. I always think that, to be a good entrepreneur, you must have a company, you must have a nice office. Our office damn nice, 2 stories. The more employees you have, the better. It looks good. But then that was when I realized something. 人在一起不算团队，心在一起才算团队。And I realized that it's never about the number of people. It's about the number of the loyalty. Yeah. And anyway, it was downhill from there. I remember back then I was staying at Amokyo. Now I respect this CEO boss, and I still do respect him a lot. He is in his 40s back then, and he's always the one we come up with all the great ideas. We just execute, right? I remember we sat down in a coffee shop in Ang Mo Kio, where I stayed. At 6 o'clock, we started trying to figure out how to solve this problem. At 11 p.m., where everybody left already, people chased us out of the coffee shop. We still did not come up with an idea. And I remember at about 12 midnight, he stood up and he go, he said, "Gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I think we're really screwed."
Oh.
When your
CEO.
idol and your CEO and the one that always have all the ideas tell you that we are screwed, we are screwed. Okay. There was no way out. And no one can know about it. No one knew that we were down.
So what do you do after you?
No,
Okay.
I do not. I have no idea. Because I already maxed out my days already. I was working literally every day. How else? I was charging 10K per speed. How else you want me to charge?
Okay.
There's no way already.
So how do you overcome?
No, so I remembered that, and my parents did not know about it. Yeah, and I remembered that.
Do they know about it?
No, of course now they know.
Okay.
And that comes the part two of the story. I remember every day I cannot sleep. And I would, eventually I'll sleep and then I'll wake up. And then, in Singapore, you wake up, you hear the birds chirping, right? And for a moment, Edric, for a tiny slither moment, I forgot I was in debt. You wake up in that moment, go like, then suddenly everything just hit you, like a 100-pound lorry, that you are in debt. Lawsuit is coming. Employees are suing you. Partners are suing you. Trainers are talking shit about you. And you have absolutely no way that you can pay this money. It just hit you like that. And I started crying. I remembered one day I think I must have cried so loud under the blanket. My dad and my mom came in. And that was when they were shocked. And they were like, "What happened?" And that was when in tears I told them, "Mom, I'm sorry, but I screw up. And now we are in $1 million debt. I have no idea how to pay it. And we're poor." I mean, not say poor, but like my parents are not going to be able to help me. They have no savings, And I said, "I don't know what to do." And I remember my dad. My dad is a man of few words. He's a very quiet guy. And then he said to me that, he said, "Boy, even if Daddy need to sell the house, Daddy will sell it. Daddy don't mind working again. They don't mind driving taxi again so that we can pay your debt." And I remembered that, I was such a failure, Hey, my dad was in his 60s already. I worked so hard so that I can retire him. And then now he has to go back and work. And I guess that was a wake-up call I needed. Because I guess sometimes, there's a saying, right? It's a very beautiful saying that when the why is big enough, you'll figure out the how. I did not have a solution back then. All I had was I would never ever go back to the old life that we were living. I'd never ever want to be looked down by my relatives. I never ever want my dad to be like his friend who had to sell tissue at a coffee shop. And I guess that was the motivation I needed. Because I remember going back to office. Suddenly, I don't know why I had this new motivation. It's really true, that sometimes we don't need answers. We just need a drive. I just told my CEO and I told Philip, my business partner, I say, "Guys, I don't care. I know we're screwed, but I say that we'll find a way out. I don't know what's the way out, but we'll find a way out." And I told them this. I said that, guys, if we can get this through, right, this is going to be the best motivational speech I'll ever be able to deliver. And so and we came out with a very simple plan. So, Alex, you're 40 plus, you have a lot of rich friends. You go talk to your rich friends and see if you can find investors. Philip, I'm a sales guy. I'm going to talk to every single one of my corporate client and I'm going to see how we can do projects with them. They sign us retainer. I will do it. I'll sell. Philip, you need to protect us. We cannot deal with negativity right now. Alex and I were going to go find money. You are going to block you're going to be our tanker in Dota. You're going to tank all the damage, all the haters, all the lawsuit. You deal with them yourself. You let the two of us go and find money. Fast forward 6 months later, our CEO found an investor who was damn rich. He makes $1 million every month. He saw that our business can turn around. And he came in and invested in our company. Number 2, I closed a 6-figure corporate deal with a pharmaceutical company.
So you did the sales yourself?
Of course. I called every single one of them. Okay. Because of this deal, I started thinking bigger. I don't want to sell a training program. I want to sell a training solution. So all my solution was 6 figures. And we had a telco company that bought the program as well. So with that 2 6-figure money and the investor money, we got ourselves out.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
No problem. I mean, that was the full story. I mean, obviously on keynote speech, I can't share the details, but my dad played a very big part.
Yes.
And my mom, of course.
Wow.
And skills, network, save us, and brand. Because back then, I was already at my peak of my career. I was speaking 16 countries. So all I needed to do was just to leverage on my brand to say that, hey, you hired me for speaking, but I think I can do more than for you than just a 45-minute speech. I could do A, B, C, D for you. And then they say, oh, this is really good. Okay. And that's why I say, till today, I always tell my students, your personal brand is your in bad times, your personal brand is your guardian angel. In good times, your personal brand is your pushing force. Can I say in Mandarin?
当然可以。
在你的困境的时候呢，你的个人品牌是你的守护神；在你顺境的时候，你个人品牌是你的推动力。Personal brand is so important. You don't build it when you need it. You build it first because it's gonna save you, man. It saved my life. It got back my business. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for sharing, Eric.
No problem.
I wanted to ask more about your dad being a motivation, because I can tell that you have very loving parents.
Oh my God, yeah. They sacrificed everything for me, to give me the education that I have.
Can you share with the audience more about the relationship you have with your dad?
Sure.
And for people who don't have that kind of relationship, how will you advise?
So my dad is a taxi driver, and he works really hard. And he's also a nobody in his family. He's the second eldest, but he's probably the one that has the least education, and he got looked down by his brothers, right? Even his father also looked down on him. So that's who he is, and people think of him as a very useless guy, no hope. But the minute I was born, at least that was what I thought, my dad suddenly found a new purpose. He decided that, okay, I'm not going to fool around anymore. I'm going to work hard for my son.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the eldest.
Okay, you have a sister.
Then 4 years later, my sister came about.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my dad was working, in the morning I remembered, 5 a.m. he'll wake up, he'll eat his bread, drink his Milo, and then he'll go out to work. And we won't see him until 6 p.m. at night. He used to be very fair, but because of the job as a taxi driver, he's so dark, And being a taxi driver is not easy. You get scolded by a lot of people. Yep. You just get a lot of bad shit, right? But that was my dad. Then my mom is a housewife, but she also wanted to give the best for us. And my relatives are a lot richer. Every Chinese New Year, my cousins get to wear branded stuff, and obviously I get to always wear the hand-me-downs. I'm the youngest in the entire family, so I get hand-me-downs, and therefore my mom realized that. She decided to work a part-time job in a clinic as a clinic assistant, and she even worked in a factory. I remember because she has very allergic skin, but she was packing flour, and her face will be so red, her skin will be so red, because she's in the aircon room dealing with all this thing. I mean, my parents, I think I'm very blessed. Sometimes people ask me, like, Eric, you're so successful. I say the only reason is because I'm given 2 trump cards. One is called mommy and one's called daddy. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I'm just very lucky. And I have an amazing sister.
So would you say that your family was a great motivation?
Still is.
When you first start out?
Yes, they never questioned. I was a scholar, I had a very good job. But when I decided to be an entrepreneur, they never ever questioned me. Even till today. I mean, now they just would tell me to like work less, right, for health's sake. But I really have the best set of parents. And circling back to your second question is, I used to tell people, you need to be filial to your parents. And I always tell them this thing. The Chinese word 孝顺, which is filial, right?
Yes.
你不孝, 你的生活不会顺的. That's why it's called 孝顺, right? You need to be filial so that your life is smooth. Now, that sounds damn nice, right? But I also came to realize as I get older, we really sometimes do have parents that are really very toxic.
Yeah.
So it's not fair for me to tell my students or any one of them that you need to love your parents, because sometimes our parents can be very unlovable. So to go back to your question about what if we have parents that are just really, really toxic? I think number one is that we can't choose our parents. So number one is we have to reframe the story that unfortunately our parents are here to collect debts from you. If you like to see it from a grand scale of things, it's because probably in a past life, I believe that, your parents you probably owe your parents. So I don't care what story you run for yourself, but as long as you run the story that, you know what, I can't change my parents, I'm just going to do my best to love them to the best I can, all right, and heal. Because a lot of our trauma comes from our parents, our inadequate relationship with our parents. So we need to heal. We don't need our parents to change, But we need to accept, we need to forgive, we need to heal. Then we need to move on.
And surprisingly, when you accept and forgive, the person that healed is actually ourselves.
Exactly. You can't heal other people. You can only heal yourself, right? And then when you heal yourself, you're full and you're complete. Then you can receive the good in this world. Because think about it, there's a lot of good in this world. Mentors will give you the good in this world. Programs can give you good in this world. The nature can give you good in this world, right? And you come with blessings. But if your container is broken, there are holes, you can't contain all the blessings. And if you can't contain all the blessings, how can you give blessings away? So we all come with broken holes, right? The broken holes can come from our bullies in our life. Broken hole can come from our relatives and our parents. So we go healed, we go patch. And then when we patch and we are whole and complete, then we can contain. And then when we contain, then we can bless and overflow. That's how I think
That's
it works.
a very nice analogy. Right. So, Eric, if you were to summarize what you learned from your experience, like if you have a chance to speak to Eric then, what would you have advised Eric? What are some of the learnings that you had?
Wow. If I were to speak to the Eric of the past, if I were to come to him and I'll tap him on the shoulder and I'll say that, I will tell him that it will get better. Yeah, because I was very lonely growing up. That's why I'm very close to my sister. I think I live with a lot of doubt and a lot of unworthiness issues. But then I realized that if I don't go through all this thing, I will not be who I am today. I will not have the empathy I have today. Do you know that today, whenever I spend time with my participants, I love to spend time with participants who are the least popular one, the quietest one, because I used to be one of them. Those popular ones, I don't spend too much time with them because they're already so popular. So if I haven't been through what I've been through, I will not have the empathy that I have today. That's my superpower right now. So I will tell my young self that just memorize all the pain you go through, because we're going to turn them into powerful motivational stories when we grow up. Yeah. And I will also tell my young one that you should not have played with your toys. You should have kept your toys minted so that we can sell them.
What
I have
toys
a lot
do you
of
have?
toys. Oh, last time my dad loved me so much. He'll buy me a lot of toys.
Okay.
But then I'll play them, right?
Ah.
But if I keep the toys, my Bionic 6, my Silver Hawk, my Visionaries, man, I can make a lot of money. Can I do that? Is it playing cheat? To go back to the past and tell my young self not to play with my toys.
Like what you said, I think scars and mistakes are the things that define you today.
Yeah, lor. I
Well,
actually
and
won't change that.
Without you getting into that depth, you will not explore bigger opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, how sometimes we always ask God or whatever that we believe in that, I want to do big things in life, right? And then you wonder how come my life become tougher. Because you ask for it.
Yeah.
You ask for a bigger life. You ask for a bigger calling. You want to serve bigger people. So you got to have thicker skin. You got to have more skills. You got to have more resilience. And so more shit is going to happen. I always give this analogy of muscle building. There's a saying, right? It doesn't count if it doesn't hurt. So if you go to the gym and you work out, but you don't feel anything, right? Your muscles are not working. So likewise in life as well, if you're not going through difficult times, you're not being cultivated. I give you an even better analogy that just came out in my mind. Do you play computer games?
Yes.
I love computer games. I still do play computer games.
Yep.
This is an analogy that I think will relate to a lot of people. When you play computer games, if you meet bad guys, you know you're in the right direction, right?
That's right.
So why is it that life is also a computer game?
Yep.
And when you meet bad guys, bad people,
Problems,
obstacles, challenges, isn't that a great thing? Because you're about to, if you destroy them, you're about to gain
Breakthrough.
XP, you're
Level
about to gain loot, you're going to level up to beat the bigger bosses, and then the bigger bosses is going to help you level up, and then eventually you become king of the game or queen of the game. So if we see things that way, we're going to embrace failure, disappointment, struggles a lot more.
Well, I think you just summarized the key mindset for people to get started. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, stop seeing failures, challenges as something bad.
No, it's part of the process.
Embracing it.
Yeah.
It's so powerful.
You know what's the problem? We're too attached to the outcome. We want success too fast. And therefore we take shortcuts, or we get upset with the challenges that we face.
And it's apparently very common among young people nowadays with social media.
Same.
How do you get detached though?
I tell myself this, that outcome is for the ego, journey is for the soul. So the focus is to enjoy the process. Yeah. And of course, it's easier said than done. I think the only way we can do that is to train ourselves to have delayed gratification. So for example, what is called delayed gratification? So that means when you're hungry, most of us will immediately want to eat, right? You tong a bit. You know, you endure for maybe about another, I know the doctors might say that it's a great gastric, but you understand my analogy,
Yes.
which is when you want something, you hold back a little bit more longer to train yourself to be okay to not have something that you want. And it actually trains tenacity. I mean, I do that with my dogs. Right, and
Titan.
Titan, right?
Okay.
You don't give your dog whatever that he wants, then you're gonna spoil him, right? You make him wait for things. So I remember there was this dog trick, right? That he wants something, I'll hold it, and then he has to squat down, and he have to look at my hand, because if he don't look at my hand, I'm not gonna feed him. But the very cute thing is that if he look at my hand, he still himself, he will start drooling. Very cute. He'll drool. The minute I open, then he eat. But that trains him to not rush for things, and I think young people need that.
Well, recently I just shared with my community that the number one thing we need to learn in life is AQ, right? The ability to deal with adversity, the ability to step out of our comfort zone, and just doing the hard things, right? And like recently I saw an interview by this Shaolin master. He was just talking about this topic on how every day he has routines. He do push-ups. He will break.
Put himself in pain.
Yes, and to get used to that pain. And
There's a very nice quote. It says there that when you are tough on yourself, the world becomes easy on you. But when you're easy on yourself, the world becomes tough on you. Yeah. So I think it's either you create pain for yourself or someone else will create pain for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Eric, I think a lot of people want to ask this, including some of my team members. Like, how is your routine like? And you are very into mental health.
Oh yes.
So how does your work cycles look like? How does your routines look like? Yeah.
So let's talk about morning routine first, right? So I will wake up, and then the first thing I wake up, very important, because you're in your alpha state. And that means where your conscious mind is still on sleeping mode, so you can send messages into your subconscious. So whenever I wake up, I will say things like, I will tell myself this, Eric, you are a billionaire entrepreneur. Okay. Your speeches and your businesses are going to impact millions of lives. Today is going to be an awesome day. So I'll basically just say things that I'll declare for myself.
Affirmations, right?
Affirmations.
A lot of people might think that you're crazy, but can you explain the science?
The science of it.
There are a lot of young people nowadays who say that this is so cultish, brainwashing.
No, it is brainwashing.
Yes.
So the very first thing that they need to look at is go and study brain health, brain science, right? We all know that your brain is like an iceberg, right? 10% is conscious, 90% is subconscious and unconscious. Yeah. And a lot of things that influence is in the unconscious and subconscious one. So all the fears and your limiting beliefs are the conscious mind trying to protect you from harming
ego,
yourself.
Right? The ego.
Yeah, your identity. Okay. So I'm sure there's enough. I mean, come on, there's AI, there is Google. Go and read up. You understand the principle behind it. Okay, then maybe let's not listen to science for a moment, right? You think about it. Remember we said that you need to be your biggest fan. Right? You cannot wait for people you cannot wait for people to want you. You got to want yourself first. So you can almost say that you're lying to yourself. But I ask you something. Would you rather tell yourself that I'm a successful billionaire, or would you rather tell yourself that I'm a failure loser? Because either way will work. So why not do an experiment? So all of you watching this right now, right? Sure, you don't believe it's okay. We don't need you to believe, because the best way to believe in something is through your personal experience, right? So first of all, let's establish that you're not happy with whatever that you have. Because if you're happy with whatever you have, you should not do anything else. Because you don't change your status quo. But if you're watching this, I suspect it's because you're not happy with what you have. Now, then you check in with what you've been saying to yourself or the people that you hang out with. Definitely it's because of what you say to yourself and the people that you hang out with that lead you to have the kind of life that you have. So why not now change your community and change the people that you talk to? Change the things that you say to yourself. Do it for, let's say, just 1 week, 7 days. And you tell me whether your life is going to change.
Actually,
let them convince themselves.
I must say that I do that personally as well.
Yeah.
Right? When I started doing sales, I literally brainwashed myself to sleep.
Oh.
And I even play affirmations while I'm sleeping, because apparently our subconscious mind it doesn't sleep. It's awake 24/7, and it cannot differentiate past, present, and future. Yeah. So whatever you tell the mind, as long as there's enough repetition, it becomes.
Do you know? Yeah. I actually have a recording. I actually read things like, Eric, you're amazing, you're confident, you're charismatic.
I do that too.
I play on loop at my handphone.
Yeah.
And I listen to myself talk. Yeah, but once you have a partner, right, then it's very weird. So my partner will think that you're weird. How come you're playing these kind of videos, right? But it just worked for me.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because in the car, I will listen to it as well.
Must as well, right? Since you want to say something to yourself, might as well say positive things. Okay. So going back to routine, right? Yes. So the first few minutes, I will do that. And then I will get out, I'll drink a glass of water, And then after I drink a glass of water, then I'll start meditating. So one of the things that I do, so religion aside, I would just basically sit still because I'm a very hyper person. So I will meditate. There will be some mantras that I'll be saying. So again, don't scare, right? You don't have to have mantras. What are mantras? Mantras are just energized words. So a mantra could just be, I'm amazing. A mantra could be a Bible verse. A mantra could be you reading the Diamond Sutra, 金刚经, right? It could be anything. But that was what I did. So I would practice being still and practice my breathing, imagine white light surrounding me, and I'll basically all the meditation stuff. Now, once I finish doing this, I'll get out and I'll soak up the sun. I need the sun. I feel like I get very energized when I'm in nature and when I'm perspiring.
And it helps your circadian rhythm as well.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So then I'll go out and then I'll go get breakfast.
Okay.
And then I already plan nicely, like Monday to Sunday, where I want to go for breakfast. So I will already go and get breakfast. And then over breakfast is where I'll read. Yeah, so I have a book that I want to read on my Kindle, right? And then I'll read. Then when I finish reading, I'll go back home, then I'll shower. Very routine. Maybe because I'm a Capricorn, I'm a very routine guy. Then I shower, finish already, then I will be on my desk, and then I'll be journaling. I prepared 5 questions that I will ask myself every morning because I already created the life I want to live in 2025. So based on the life I want to live in 2025, there are some questions I need to ask myself every day.
Okay.
So one of it, for example, is I want my life to be easy, light, and relaxed. So my first question I always ask myself is, how can I make today easy, light, and relaxed? So anyway, these journaling questions, and then by then it's 10 o'clock. So I wake up at 8, and then I got 2 hours of morning routine, and then 10 o'clock I start my work. And then I'll work, right? I stop work by 6. So this is the mistake that I made last time. I would continue working all the way to the end, to very late. But I realized that I have a lot of personal things I want to do that I don't get a chance to do. And I also have problems sleeping in the past. So if I overwork myself, I can't sleep. So by 6 or later 7 o'clock, I must stop work. And then I'll go do the things I want to do. So it could be take my dog out for a walk, hang out with my mom, or basically just watch Netflix or hang out with my friends. It doesn't matter what I do. Or come here and do podcasts, right? But I'll just do something that I want to do. And then at 10:30, my alarm will ring. That's why I gotta stop watching all the TV. Oh, I play Dota as well. I play Dota
too.
Yes, still play that. But by 10:30, this will ring. And that was when I got to start doing boring things.
Okay, prepare to sleep.
Yes, because I get hyperactive at night. So I have to do boring things like clean the house, keep the laundry. So I never do laundry or house cleaning until at night.
Okay,
yeah,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, because I need to do things that's very boring.
Okay.
Then I'll shower, and then I would journal, and then I would read a fiction book.
Okay, no screens, right? No screens.
No screen. Yeah, done.
Thanks for sharing.
Very, very routine.
And when you travel, do you still...
Yes, I still do that.
What Netflix shows do you watch nowadays?
Oh, I'm so embarrassed to tell you. I love watching cartoons.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Anime.
Of course, anime, but now no more good anime for me, so I'm rewatching My Little Pony and Friends. Yeah, I basically just watch anything that makes me feel good.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I believe in this, careful with what you watch.
Yes.
Because if you keep watching... So I don't listen to sad songs anymore. I don't watch any sob movies anymore. I only watch comedy and anything that's inspiring. I don't watch horror as well. Because anything that you watch, you're going to put it in your subconscious mind and you're going to play out the same thing in your life.
That's right. And cartoons and animes are usually pretty inspiring.
Yeah, but some anime also start getting a bit violent,
I agree
right?
I agree.
Yeah, so I watch things that are very inspiring, very motivational. But it's just me.
Thanks for sharing. Well, I'm so happy that... some of the things that you're doing, I'm doing myself.
You know why, Edric? It's not that... First of all, we don't want the people that is watching this or seeing this feel condemned. No such thing. You can watch whatever that you want, because it's your life. But I think I want to play a bigger game. Like, you think about it. As you get older, the amount of energy you have is actually limited. But we want to do big things in life. We don't just want to change our kids' life, We want to change our community life. We want to be a global influence. We want to change policies, right? That requires a lot of energy, conviction. That requires a lot of brain power. So why would you want to waste your brain power and energy on stupid things that will not allow you to leave a legacy? So it's simply a choice that because we got big things we want to do, therefore we need to prepare our bodies and our mind and our soul to do big things. But if we are not ambitious, then it's okay lah. Every day watch Netflix also okay, what? If you don't have the ambition. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, most importantly, we take responsibility for our own choices.
Exactly.
Right. Eric, I think I'm learning a lot from my chat with you.
No, thanks for all the questions. Yeah.
For the people who are aspiring entrepreneurs looking to start out, right? Any advice for them? They're new. They're 6 months to 1 year.
I think that when you are in your 20s, because you're different age group, right? In your 20s, I think it's more important to find great mentors. Don't really worry about the business idea first. I think Jack Ma was the first person that said this, that in your 20s, follow the right boss, follow the right mentor. So I would say that, listen to podcasts, go for more networking events, look out for people that inspire you. And I'll tell you why, Edric. It's called the law of resonance. The people that resonates with you, right, is because you all share same core values. And the life that you're about to live is probably going to be the kind of life that they're going to live. That's why there's resonance.
Is that why I'm so inspired by you?
And because I guess we're all from the same tribe, we share the same core values, right? And because I kind of was born a little bit older than you, so I'm just a few steps ahead of you. But likewise, you're a few steps ahead of the tribe that you're leading as well. So I feel that in your 20s, follow your mentor, pick up skills. And if there's one skill, there are a couple of skills you can pick. But I really think that one of the most important skills that you need to pick is selling skills. Because the minute you are an entrepreneur, right, every day is a sales job. You got to sell to investors. You got to sell to customers. You got to sell team members. You got to sell to your haters.
And that's how you revive your company as well.
In fact, it was sales that got me back my company, right? So I think that selling skills are extremely, extremely important. The next skill that I think is also very important is EQ, emotional intelligence. The reason is because as an entrepreneur, you're going to go through a lot of stress. You're going to deal with a lot of stupid people. And you're going to get very irritated. So if you don't know how to regulate your emotions, right, you're gonna have no presence in front of people. So you're gonna look flustered. And if you're a leader and you're flustered, right, you're a weak leader. You cannot ever show your emotions out. I mean, you show when you want to, but if you look angry, pissed off, like flustered, angry, it just shows that you're not good at managing your emotions and people don't respect you. So I would say that these are the two skills. And the third skill is learning skill. That hunger to absorb information and to integrate the information into, practical things. If you can have all these three skills in your 20s and you have a good mentor to guide you, right, I think you are, once you hit 30s, you can build your first business. Now, then where to build your first business? That one important. Never ever fall into the trap of building a business that can bring you money, because every business can bring you money. Ultimately, the money that you make is the market's feedback of your value. If you can create value, which goes back to the skills that you have built, you will be able to make a lot of money. So the key is not to make money. The key is whether can you play the long game. Because some businesses really do take time. And in order for you to play the long game, you need to connect to your purpose and your values. Therefore, find a problem in this world that pisses you off. If it's a problem that pisses you off, I think it's a good business to work on, because you have the motivation and drive to go and solve that problem. So go solve that one small problem. So the problem may not be a world problem. It may be a Singapore problem first. But then once you solve that problem with whatever skills you have and the network that your mentor lend you, you will eventually build your own network in your 30s. So in your 30s is where you want to build your network. You want to build your resources already. Right? And with the network and resources, you're going to loop a few times. You're going to try to solve a problem and fail. It's okay. Try to solve another problem, but you got 10 years. But by the time you hit your 40s, and that's where I am, you should already decided what kind of impact you want to make in this world. You should already know already. Because you already have the skills, you have the resources, you have the network, and you kind of get a sense of who you are. Now you take a look at the world again and decide for the next 10 to 20 years what problem you want to solve. You know what's the problem I want to solve?
You mentioned earlier?
I want to help people find back their voice, because I didn't have voice. So, but it took me 20 years to discover that that's what I want to do. And the minute now I know, I'm going to spend the next 10 to 20 years to build this. So
I can relate to it.
That would be something that your people can.
Thanks for sharing, Eric. That was super wise, man. I still have a lot of questions to ask you. So,
no problem.
But I just want to internalize what you just mentioned.
Yes.
When you're in your 20s, find a good environment, find good mentors, and to learn skills.
Yes.
And in your 30s,
experiment more.
Yeah. And in your 30s, find your mission. And a lot of times your mission can be found from the pains that you face when you're younger. So when I was younger, my family struggled with money. I noticed how money disrupted the harmony of family. And I knew that if people were educated about financial literacy, like when they master money, they can now buy back the time to do what they love. Yes. And doing a business that really they find joy in, they find conviction in. Is that right?
Yes. And then when you solve one problem, the second problem will surface. Yes. Then you go solve it. The third one, the fourth one. And then once you hit your 40s, you start to see a commonality among all the problems you're solving. There's a theme, there's a message, there's a calling.
Okay.
The dots will connect when you look backwards. So don't rush. Yeah. So just like you said, 30s find your mission, don't need. Don't find your mission, because that's what gets us in trouble. Mission is always found backwards, not forward.
So solving a problem.
Just keep solving problems. Let the problems be the one that lead you forward. Okay, with whatever skills and resources you have. But when you hit your 40s, or when you make your millions, then you ask yourself, what's the commonality? Then you see your mission.
Okay. So for someone who is like completely new, the question that they might have is, yes, I want to learn skills, I want to find a network, but where can they get started?
Go to social media, type keywords that you want to learn. So you can type keywords like entrepreneurship, money, business, mental health, motivation. And then all these creators out there are potential mentors of yours. Because if you can consume enough of their content, you kind of get a sense of who they are and the value that they're providing. Then look out for these creators when they run events. And then go attend the events and make sure you be the one to ask the questions and reach out to these creators and say, hey, I love what you do. How can I help you?
But nowadays there are many black sheeps in the market. There are gurus who they over glorify success. They flex their Lamborghinis, and a lot of people felt that attending their causes is a waste of time. The causes have a very strong stigma. How do you differentiate what is a good?
No, don't pay for anything first. Free stuff. Free content, free hangout. I think young people today, you're all very discerning. You can tell, when a person is real, or you can tell a person is fake. So I'm not asking you to sign up for a program. I'm asking you to go for their events, their outreach programs. And then when you interact with them, you see whether they are genuine or not. Or are they the kind of person that have a pay gate one? That, sorry, I can't give you this advice until you pay me for a program now. That tells me that that's probably not a genuine mentor. Then don't hang out with them.
But you still believe that a good mentor is like pivotal in...
Absolutely. Very, very important. I mean...
But they might say, Eric, nowadays I can find everything online, AI. I can speak to AI. Why do I need to have a mentor? How would you answer that?
I think AI is able to give you information, and you think about it, right? AI basically gives you information from the entire whole wide world, right? But we are not just our mental mind. We're also heart. We're also a soul. So we don't just want to connect with people with knowledge. We also want to connect with people with similar values as us, people who have similar experiences as us. That one a bit hard to find in AI. So I would say that human factor is still important. But I think that's the difference between your generation and my generation. Today you have a lot more options. So if you feel that you can connect better with AI, then learn everything you can from AI first. Recently, my best friend was telling me that she had an amazing conversation with her AI bestie. So you can start with that. But I would say that if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to have people skills. If you want to have people skills, you need to know how to interact with people. So that the people element still comes in. So do both.
Thanks for sharing, Eric. Final question before we wrap it up. So you mentioned that in your 20s, you were very passionate in learning how to speak. 30s, you build a business. 40s is about building a legacy. How about 50s? What's your plans in your 50s?
No idea, man. No idea. I seriously have no idea.
Okay.
I just do my 40s and stay alive first. And then when I hit my 50s, things will come. But one thing is that my core values remain the same. I want to be light in this world. So it will never change. Whether I'm 50, I'm 60, I'm 70, I want to be light in this world. But how is that going to manifest? I have no idea. Will I continue to be an educator? Will I continue to be an entrepreneur? I have no idea. So, but that's part of fun, right? We don't have to figure out everything. Yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
No
We're going to end off with a rapid Q&A.
Oh my.
10 questions. You're going to answer me without thinking, okay?
Okay, I'll try.
All right. Okay, Eric, you have visited many countries. What is your favorite country you have visited and why?
Bali.
Bali?
Yes.
That was quick. Why Bali?
Oh, Bali is a very spiritual place for me. Whenever I'm in Bali, I felt like my mind quietened down and I get a lot of inspiration when I'm in Bali. Okay. A lot of great ideas in Bali. Amazing place. And you can eat like the best food at $4.
Do you write books?
Yeah, my fourth book was written in Bali.
If I want to write a book, I could.
And I'll give you exactly where you should do. You should do it at Munduk. Okay. Munduk is right up in the mountains, and I was writing book while the clouds are surrounding me, aircon temperature. I was so freaking inspired. And there's nothing around Munduk, so you literally have to just write, and then eat your very nice nasi goreng.
I'll ask you for the place later. Okay. One word to describe the education system.
Our current education system, disconnected.
Disconnected. Okay. If you were to run for elections now, what will you change?
Shucks, I'm going to take more time, okay? If I run for elections, I will advocate for mental health. It's a very big problem. I volunteer with SOS, and do you know that every single day there's one attempt to suicide in Singapore? Every day, you know. And during my recent boot camp, I had 2 participants who actually are suicidal. So if I were to go for elections, I'm going to be speaking up for the mental health.
What do you like most about Titan? It'll be hard to limit to one, right?
Titan reminds me to be present. Because in that moment, Titan is just hungry. In that moment, Titan is playful. In that moment, Titan just want to be quiet. He's very in the moment. He doesn't think about his future. He doesn't think about his past. And I feel that sometimes we need to do the same thing. You know, sometimes we think about past, we regret. Sometimes we think about future, we worry. Yeah, I think Titan reminds me to be present.
Okay. Just for context, Titan is Eric's
cute little 3-year-old corgi. Yeah, I'm sure we'll insert a B-roll of him.
Yeah, put a B-roll here.
Yeah.
Favorite entrepreneur in the world?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
I know he's very hated, but I love him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's not an advocate of mental health though. He's a bit extreme.
Yeah, I know. But entrepreneurship. You know, I read all his earlier books of, he was in PayPal time. And I see how he built his wealth and I see what he done. Now, obviously, he become a lot more political. But let's take the politics aside. I think he was a great entrepreneur. He really changed changed the way, you know, autonomous driving is. Yeah. So he's one of my favorite entrepreneurs.
If you could meet one person in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
Must be one person only, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking grandparents.
Oh, okay.
Have
you met them before?
Not really.
Okay.
If I get to meet
mom side or
both.
both.
I mean, they passed away very young when I was still a kid. If I get to meet my grandparents, the question I want to ask them is, how was mom and dad like when they were my age? I have no idea.
Well, this answer is the freshest I've ever received.
Oh, really?
Most people would say like some successful people.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I should change my answer.
No, but when I ask these questions, it really tells me a lot about what is important to you. Okay, so Eric, final one. What's on your bucket list right now? The next 3.
My bucket list. I want to own a resort. I want to build this resort for people to come and do a retreat with me. Okay. Not with me, sorry, at this
Together,
resort.
yeah.
And it would be all about helping them to find their purpose.
Bali?
Yes, definitely Bali. I'm really looking for a place there. And they will, okay, so just imagine this. Founders, and this is for founders only. So we have gone out there, we've fought battles, right? 遍体鳞伤, you're all wounded, you're in doubt, right? I want to build a resort for you, a retreat, right? Where you come in and you go out, right, feeling renewed. Physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, recharged. Only for founders.
Call me in.
Call
me in.
Okay. Yeah, it's my dream. And I want to be there. And I want to build that one in Bali first. And then that concept, I want to build it in other places. Okay. So you think of it like a nexus. That every time founders get jaded, they just go over there.
Can they use their phones
recharge.
there? They can't use their phones there.
Well, maybe intentional. Maybe
okay.
At times they can use it if they're working.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my dreams. I want to own a resort.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds so fun.
Yeah, it is.
I'll definitely want to be there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric, for...
Maybe it's my 50s, huh? 50s.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah, 40s I go and do all the things I want to do first. Then 50s, Then maybe that's what I do.
Have you went for similar retreats? Like I heard
personally, yes, of course.
I heard that there was one retreat where you go to a place, you can't use your phones, you can't have eye contact, you can't speak.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
you literally...
have to spend time with yourself.
Yes, yeah, and learning how to be present and aware, right?
Wow, okay.
Yeah. It's called Vipassana, if I'm not wrong.
I see. Wow, that must be tough. If you don't love yourself, good luck.
Yeah, a lot of people after coming back, they love themselves more.
Wow.
They find peace.
Okay,
they realize that they don't need anything in the world to feel present.
You know, actually, that's a very important realization. And that's why I think everybody should go after a spiritual journey. You know, people sometimes over-spiritualize things and think that spiritual means religion, like you need to worship God or what. No, there is a God in you. You're made in the image of God. And I think spirituality is about connecting with your higher self. Do you know there's a higher self in you that is the most perfect, most glorious, the smartest, the best version of yourself? It's already in you. It's a guide that's given to you as you live on earth.
Yes.
And if you can reconnect there, right, all the wisdom and all the gifts that we are given is all there. And we can tap onto it, we can really make a huge difference in this world.
Infinite intelligence,
Exactly.
Collective consciousness.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm actually quite into that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I strongly believe in that. And I believe that eventually entrepreneurship is spiritual as well. Like it connects you to your higher self, the mission, and...
To me, I think everything is spiritual.
Yeah.
We are first spirit. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Very glad to have you here, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much
having me.
taking
Appreciate
time.
it.
Really enjoyed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good chat.